Hit the record button here, and then that's right, with webcams today. Tawny and Rob, you can go ahead and share yours if you'd like. We're still waiting for a couple other people. There he is. Rob, I'm going to have to unmute your mic probably, but you're there. All right, hang on. Don't say anything yet. All right, everybody. Oh, that's...
I can unmute myself. Thank you very much.
Oh, my God. His ego is already taken over. Just kidding. Yes, you're both unmuted. How are you guys?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
Hey, Tony.
Hi.
Good. All right. I just wanted to make sure your mics are working, but I am going to mute you just for a second here, just so I can properly introduce you for a minute. I want to just make sure that everybody can see everybody, and we are pretty much ready to roll. We've got about 30 people on the call, and I am going to do this, and we'll just pretty much get started here. 1 second here. All right. So welcome everybody to VO Test Drive 2 Second Gear Demos. You know, we're gonna. We had a nice little informative Q&A about a month ago via VoiceOver Camp. It was a VoiceOver Camp exclusive. These webinars are not to be replaced or mistaken for my VoiceOver group classes, which we spend a lot more time in detail. You know, reading scripts, talking marketing, doing auditioning, and learning recording software. That's a whole different entity. But we decided, you know, once every couple of months or so to do these, you know, informative webinars so people can learn how to get started the right way, getting into voiceovers, and just, you know, following a process and following a step-by-step process, because people will read books, they'll read blogs online, and then they'll go and buy a headset mic, and they think they can just plug it into their computer and start doing voiceovers. Well, you can start doing voiceovers. A good way to start practicing, but there's a proper success cycle that goes along with it. So I'm going to introduce Rob Marley and Tawny Plattis, a couple of other coaches on my staff now. Welcome, you guys.
Hello.
Hi. Thanks for having us.
Welcome to the party. I think I'm going to have a Lift Bridge mini donut beer tonight in celebration of the Minnesota State Fair.
I have no idea what that means.
The State Fair.
What the hell did you just say?
The State Fair is going on in St. Paul. It's a huge, huge fair. As you know, as everybody in every state has a state fair, and they have mini donut beer. Can you believe this?
Mini donut beer.
Donut flavored beer, and it sounds awful, but it's one of the most delicious things I've ever tasted in my life. Can you guys see me? Can you guys see me okay?
Yeah, you look fine. Okay. You need to come to Texas. We have deep fried beer at our state fair.
I'm not
Texas. They deep fry everything. It's crazy.
So
and they do a deep fried beer.
Speaking of Texas, how are you hanging out down there? Give us a little flooding update. You're pretty safe in Austin, correct?
Yeah, Austin was high and dry. I got about 5 inches of rain, so I got nothing. I'm nothing. The hardest thing is talking to my friends on Facebook, and they're telling me, yeah, the water's about 2 feet away from my front door, and I don't have sandbags, but they're still on Facebook, and they're talking to me through Facebook, and it's like, all right, well, you know, can you get to your roof? And, I mean, it was weird. It was a very weird situation. I mean, I went through Katrina, and it was, you know, because of technology, it was just a different world. It was just very weird to be talking to people in the middle of the flood as it's flooding, you know, and they're on Facebook.
You see a lot of Facebook Live videos of people like on boats trying to save people. It's just a whole different world. It's like everything. It's like you've got like 100 news channels coming at you at the same time. But
and if there's one thing that Houston has, it's like really jacked up vehicles. So there's a lot of guys that are now heroes that are pretty much just jerks the rest of the year, but now they're here.
Well, I'm glad you're safe. So we're going to talk about voiceover demos this evening. We're going to take some questions live, just like we did last time. In fact, I'm going to punch up my attendance list here. And once we kind of get going and we start talking about some of the content here, if you want to ask a question live, it's pretty easy. All you have to do is raise the virtual hand in the GoToWebinar widget, and I will call upon you. And that's kind of how that goes. And then we'll do a little Q&A towards the end of the class. And talk about some other stuff, but I really wanted to focus on demos because this is really your calling card. It's like, it's your audio business cards. And some people take it seriously. Some people take it for granted. This is something that you need to do the right way if you're passionate about having any kind of success in voiceovers. We've all learned the hard way. I tried to record my own demo. This is kind of embarrassing. It was in like 1989, and I tried to record my first demo via a Panasonic boombox.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah. I hit play and record, and I read some newspaper clippings, and I got a couple magazines, and then I tried to send that to some talent agents. And how well do you think that went?
Yeah, I'm guessing not well.
Well, it's funny because now we have technology, and that might be kind of a funny story, recording on a tape recorder or like a boombox, but some things haven't changed. Some people will read something on a blog or on like one of those how-to blogs. Oh, just buy a headset mic, plug it into your computer, read some stuff that you find online, and then send it to some talent agents. That doesn't go very well. Rob, do you have what was your first demo like? Did you go down the dark side and try to self-produce your own before you fell flat on your face? Tell me a little bit about your experience.
I did 2 demos because one I thought, okay, I know what I'm doing. And so I did my own demo and I threw a bunch of stuff together and found some scripts and, made it work and thought it sounded good. And then like 6 months later, I was listening to it and went, yeah, I could do better. And so I did it again. And I used that for maybe 2 years, a year and a half, sending that demo out to talent agencies, never heard back from them, and then I finally saw the light and got coaching and got, went through the whole process and learned all the stuff that I thought I knew and then recorded a demo. And now it's like, I look back at and listen to the first demo I did. And it's just like, oh my God, I can't believe I was sending that out.
I know, and we've all been there. I actually wrote. On my. I had like a TDK cassette that I would send out. Of course, I recorded it myself, and then I would write in Magic Marker Terry Daniel voiceover demo in black Magic Marker, and then I shoved it in like an envelope and then sent it out to some talent agents. Now, Tawny, you're a younger talent who was not around in 1989, so you didn't have the joy of being able to record in a boombox or an old Sears home stereo with a little Radio Shack mic plugged into the input. But you actually got your demo done the right way, and you've actually had some success, correct?
That's correct. I actually have a business background, so I did all the research before I approached Mr. Terry Daniel, and I made sure that I was prepared for that and what starting the business would be, and we did it the right way. And because we did it the right way, I started working the first 2 weeks that I decided to go full-time.
That's awesome. And way back in the day, it's interesting how things have changed, because way back when I got started, which was like 1989. And then this kind of progressed into the 90s where everybody kind of had one demo. You would put anything you could think of on one demo. There'd be, a commercial, a narration, an on-hold message, maybe something from a book, maybe an industrial narration. Yeah, character stuff. You would it would just be a variety show, and demos were like 4 minutes long, and it was and sometimes there would be something on each side of the cassette. And things have really changed. I mean, the attention span of creative people in this industry continues to decline on a yearly basis, including talent agents, producers, audio-visual directors, and they don't want to hear a big 4-minute demo. So really, unless it's like a character or an audiobook demo, a commercial and narration demo really should be about 60 seconds long with about 5 or 6, give or take 10 to 12 second clips. And again, you've heard me, preach about this until I'm blue in the face on VoiceOver Camp, but I cannot stress enough the importance of getting this professionally done. Even if you're a talented engineer, you still need a second set of ears to help coach you through the process. There are people that have been in this industry for 50, 60 years. I mean, Joe Cipriano, who's one of the biggest promo voices in LA, he wouldn't even direct himself doing his own audiobook. He hired like a couple of coaches to direct him. And smart guy, because even if he's had, seven-figure voice actor for all these years. He still didn't trust himself enough to go and do his own audiobook without some type of direction. So nobody is above that type of mentorship, and it's just it's a big part of the process. You hear this expression a lot in just about any business, that sometimes you only have one chance to do to make a good impression. But I'm friends with a lot of my agents, and they tell me all the time, if somebody wastes my time and sends me a shitty demo that they tried to produce themselves, do you think I'm going to give that person another shot 6 months or a year down the road if they decide to finally do it right? So if you're passionate about business, that's what you got to do. You got to take it seriously. Yes, Rob Marley.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, it's like one of the things that I've said before. It's like you have to be fired up about what you're doing, and you want to be remembered. You want the demo to be remembered. I mean, that's the whole idea. You're trying to get it to the casting director or the voice or the talent agent or whatever, or the producer, and you're trying to be memorable. And the problem is that if you send out a crappy demo, you'll be remembered, but you'll be remembered in the wrong direction.
Exactly.
It's like, that's not the way you want to be remembered. You want to be remembered as, oh yeah, that's the guy that, that I could rely on to do something. I've been not bugging. I've been marketing to one client for a year and a half now, about a year now. And he just contacted me and said, hey, here's something that I got coming up. Can you read for this? Can you audition for this part? And I thought, sure. And it's like, it's that, you have to be remembered, and it's all about being on their radar. And a good demo will do that.
A good demo will do that. And one of the biggest myths out there sometimes in our industry is people think, well, it's true. Yes, you can get a lot of work even without the help of a talent agent via a producer or audiovisual director. But some people think if you're not going to be on an agency roster, then you can just do your own demo. Well, that's a sack of shit, because that's not true. Because I have more producers asking me for a professional demo. These producers are just as important as agents. They just run a different style of business. They're working out of production houses. They're working in audiovisual departments in large corporations. And these people need a professional demo. They don't want you to sit. This is a great travel mic. You see that? It's the Apogee mic. I use it on the road mainly to just do my classes, but occasionally I'll record like an audition. But you don't want to record a demo via that mic, in a hotel room. That's for sure. If you guys don't mind, and Tawny, I believe your commercial demo is in here as well. Are you nervous?
No, it sounds fantastic. You produced it. Got it professionally done.
Oh my God.
Why would you be nervous?
I love it when she says the right things. I'm just kidding. You're absolutely right. But
that's what gives me the work. Why would I be nervous?
Now, all that said, we talk about 60-second demos that need to have about 5 or 6 clips on it. And by the way, these clips need variety. And we're not talking about you have to scream on one clip, speak in Spanish on the second clip, or sound like you're under a blanket on the third clip, or whispering in the fourth clip. It's not that's not the kind of variety we're talking about. Subtle little differences in human behavior. One clip might be a folksy, warm-hearted conversational clip. The second clip might be a little more energized. One clip might be a little more hard sell. There might be a clip that's a little more snarky, maybe kind of a sarcastic type read. There's so many different kinds of reads that would suit somebody's need. But I want to start off with something fun. And by the way, I see the question thing light up. We're definitely going to get to your questions towards the end of the webinar. But I want to share a character demo that we did for a talent. This is going to run a little long. This one's almost like a minute and a half. This is one of the first versions we did before we actually cut it down. But listen to the variety. This is basically an animation demo. Check it out.
Is that how you get your kicks? Hanging around an abandoned church? Sending thugs to murder an innocent woman so you don't get your pale, crooked hands dirty?
Combine magic. Too much magic can be dangerous. This one once had 2 spells and burnt his sweet roll.
All control systems to full power. Skeleton, get us out of reach of the event horizon. You can do this. And for God's sakes, where is my coffee?
Do you not remember your own name? Your comrades.
Together we shape this world. And together we can finish what we started.
Whoa, this dump is creepy.
Dude, we should totally scare the girls. Quick, I'll hide upstairs. You go to the basement. Go!
Once you've made landfall in Schwarzwald, your objectives will be to cripple their production line and neutralize the defector, Hans Fiedler.
Oh, Ripper! This is gonna make us some great pilot footage for my new show, The Zombie Hunter, starring yours truly.
All right, we don't have to play the whole thing, but that, I mean, that's
awesome.
That
is awesome.
This kid had amazing range, you know, and could do it all, and has done well. And that's what we would call an animation demo. Now, those are going to be a little, you know, there's going to be a little flexibility on the length of time. I mean, is this one probably a little too long? Yeah, it was. And then we end up cutting it back closer to like a minute 25. But that was an animation demo. And let me
Hammer.
I love the ending too.
Gyros.
All right, now I want to play another one from a former talent of mine. This is more of a commercial demo, younger male talent, and you know everybody has a certain. We talked about this in the first webinar that we did. Everybody develops their own niche in the voiceover business. You know, maybe you are kind of that neighborly, folksy guy or gal, and all your commercials are going to be a little more laid back. That doesn't mean that we can't put variety on each clip. But maybe you're one of those talents that's just kind of everywhere. You can do the hard sell, you can do the high energy guy, or you could do the real kind of laid back, kind of cool dude, you know. And your voice is that kind of like Rob Marley. Your voice is very broad.
What? No,
no, I don't want to be broad. But
no, because it's so much fun to do the deep announcery voice.
Yeah.
But the problem is everybody thinks that that's like the way it's supposed to be. And 90% of the time when somebody asks for the announcery voice, it's really looking for like the joke voice.
The jokes, like the 60s announcer voice.
Yeah.
They want to hear like Gary Owens or something.
Exactly.
Hey, it's sock it to me time.
Yeah. I just did an audition that was just like that. And I kept thinking of the announcer from the Rocky and Bullwinkle cartoons.
Yeah, that's.
And now
perfect.
we see our two heroes are, it was like kind of that like perfect. 1930s kind of nasally thing, but it's that's a character.
Well,
90% of the
that's
work
true, and some people do think, okay, well, I hear this all the time in our industry. The announcer read is dead. Well, guess what? There's still 24-hour clearance sales out there. There's still monster truck commercials. There's still concert commercials. There's a ton of different content out there that really does kind of require a little more of that hard sell kind of voice. So that has not completely gone away. Have we gone to more of a regular human factor? Guy or gal next door, believable, friendly banker, friendly postman, friendly grocer, whatever. Yeah, sure. Especially a lot of TV broadcast is really a lot like that. But I want to play this commercial demo next from Scott here. Take a listen to this variety.
Gyros Street Jammers. Gyroscopic technology spinning at 14,000 revs per minute. A quick charge and you're back with mind-blowing fun. Gyros Street Jammers. Each sold separately. Only from Zuru. You can find it. A top 30 public university and one of America's best teaching hospitals. You can find it at the University of Iowa. Tech Deck. Real board graphics from real skate companies. Real skateboard parts. Real ramps for real tricks. Hey, Dad, Padre. So I was thinking, my 18th birthday is just around the corner, and a new set of wheels from Burt Smith Automotive sounds like a plan. Something aside from Mom's minivan, we love food. We love everything about it. The feel, the smell, and certainly the taste. We celebrate with fruit. We gather around vegetables. A national survey shows that 50% of people who borrow money from a friend would rather end the friendship than repay the loan. Sorry to break the news. The truth can be tough sometimes.
See, like here's the younger male talent, but listen to that range. How about that range?
I was gonna say that's such a range.
Yeah, it sounds like 5 different guys, which is perfect.
Which is perfect.
If you're looking to hire him, if you're a person like looking for a voice, you want to hear a demo that's like, okay, well that's good. Oh, okay, well that's good. Oh, he sounds totally different. Oh, it's like it makes the mind go, this is the person that I want. Variety is awesome.
And listen, I mean, there was a passionate clip. There was a funny kind of a character-like clip, where he was talking he was kind of, giving his dad shit, conversational kind of thing. And then he had the tech deck, which was a little more laid back, kind of cool San Francisco guy. And then at the beginning, of course, he just blew it out of the water with that spot at the very beginning. And that's what you really want in a demo. You want this type of variety. And this is what, this is what's hard to do if you try to self-produce it, even if you're a talented engineer. I mean, this, Scott was well coached. I've done most of his demos. He's done some other demos with other people, but he's always been well coached, and he's always into that philosophy of being well coached. It's just like any other business, sports. I mean, look at baseball players. They have 4 or 5 different coaches that they're working with all the time. And you hear us talk about it probably maybe even a little too much in voiceover camp sometimes, but we cannot emphasize the importance of just having a mentor and somebody to just put all this fun stuff together. Tawny, you have which by the way, I think I have your demo coming up. Would you, and I know it's, and I know you haven't, it's, it's not like you've been in this business for 20 years, but you've had a lot of early success. I mean, so far up to this point, if you could describe what your niche is, what do you think that would be?
Right now, the niche seems to be kind of more of like the commercial stuff / explainer video. It seems to be pretty even right now. So it's pretty even between commercial and explainer.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said explainer, because that is a huge category of voiceover right now. E-learning, anything instructional that somebody can take online. Any kind of tutorial, explainer videos are huge. Companies are using YouTube all the time. You think, okay, well, I've seen that company's commercial, but they've got a whole separate campaign just for YouTube. And there's a market for that. And Tawny, both you and Rob both have great, character voices. You have great commercial voices, but you're really good at the educational stuff too, which is really cool. I think yours is next, Tawny. I want to play and then, by the way, right after we play this next demo, I would like to try to take a few questions that's voiceover related. Try to keep it centered around demo. It's not our way or the highway by any stretch of the imagination. If it's just another general voiceover question, it's no big deal. And if you would like to ask a question, just raise the virtual hand in the GoToWebinar widget, and what I'll do is I'll unmute your mic and you can ask in front of the entire class. All right. That was kind of a creepy face. Well, I always have a creepy face, so I don't know why that's any different, but 1 second here.
Traditional.
All right. This was Tawny's demo. We just did this for her. I don't even know how long ago with it, but this is your commercial demo, and Tawny has done really well with this piece. Take a listen to this nice variety here.
Traditional mops are a hassle and leave dirt and grime behind. Say goodbye to dirty floors with our one-time use wet mop. See a visible, sparkling clean with our premixed formula. And the disposable pad makes cleanup easy. Want Rockstar lashes? Then you need Rockstar Mascara. Introducing our new patented formula, guaranteed to give you longer, thicker, darker lashes that totally rock. What do you picture when you hear the word old-fashioned? Sophistication, glamour, seduction, experience all 3 with Ronnie Royal's Dark Amber Whiskey. It's the new Tiny Tots Learning Racetrack. With 2 cars that race each other to the finish line, this toy keeps little ones busy imagining, learning, and having fun.
I'm the creator of the most viewed website, revealing the latest gadgets Silicon Valley has to offer. I've pretty much seen it all, so it takes a lot to impress me. That's why I have to tell you about the latest smartphone that boasts facial recognition, a USB port, and a fingerprint scanner.
That's awesome.
So there you have it. And that, I kind of struggled a little bit with that last clip, Tawny, because it was very character-like, but I thought, just because it's somewhat animated and somewhat character doesn't mean, VoiceOver 101 would tell us not to put a character clip in a commercial demo, but there's a lot of commercials that have a character like that in them. So I don't, I don't have a problem taking a chance with something like that, especially at the end of the demo. Now, one thing I wanted to stress earlier is it's important to have your best clips in front. You want to get your best 2 or 3 clips right there at the beginning, because, even though demos are 60 seconds, that doesn't mean the talent agent is going to spend all this time listening to, all 6 clips on the demo. They're going to probably, I'm not saying this is all the time, but I bet 3 out of 5 times they're probably going to listen to the first 3 clips. I mean, what are your thoughts on that, Rob?
Actually, I've talked with several producers and several agents, a couple of big time agents, and they've all said the same thing, that you've got basically 5 seconds. You've got 5 seconds to get their attention, to knock their socks off. And if they hear it in that first 5 seconds, then they'll listen more. And it's like, you better serve up. Okay, that first volley was good. Now what you got for your next course, and you better be able to deliver, because as soon as they hear something they don't like, you're on to the next person. It's that fast. When you're trying to like cast a voice for a commercial, or God forbid, a series of commercials, you don't have time to listen to the entire demo of everybody that submits. You've only got a couple of seconds, so you better wow them in the first 5 seconds, and then sell them on the rest of the demo.
That's so true. And, I wouldn't be surprised if a few years from now that we demo producers are probably going to be told by talent agents, okay, look, we want to get the demos down to about 30 seconds. I would not be surprised at all, because it keeps getting shorter, and you can still fit like 4 or 5 little clips in there, even at 30 seconds at a time. But you're right. You want to be able to make a really good impression within the first few, first 5 to 10 seconds on the demo. And obviously every producer is going to have a different opinion. Every talent agent is going to have a different protocol. And it really depends. I mean, I've produced really good demos for my students, and I've been, the only negative was that it was too long, even if it's 60 seconds, but some agencies wanted it down to like 30 seconds. So we're going to take a live question here in just a couple of seconds. I want to play one more demo here for you. So if you want to ask a question live, Frank, I see that you're ready to go. I'm going to get to you in just a second here, but raise the virtual hand in the GoToWebinar widget, and we'll be happy to take a listen to it.
We all know that feeling.
All right, so here is another young male talent. We'll play his commercial demo, and then I do want to play a couple. I kind of struggled with this earlier, but I do want to play you a couple samples of just some demos that you should never dream of sending out. We're not going to mention these people by name, but let's just say that they're online out there somewhere. We don't want to embarrass them by telling you where they're at, but I think you'll be able to hear the difference between the demos that we're playing now and some of these other ones that don't even come close to sounding like a pro demo. So here's another one for you, commercial demo.
We all know that feeling. That split-second break between songs where literally anything could play next and the mood could be totally changed. But that split second is all we need to keep it going.
Need a price check on York? What is this thing?
Now is the winter of our discontent made glorious summer by this patty of York.
So, does this mean I get a free patty?
York Peppermint Patties. It's that kind of classic. You've heard the term, lighting is everything, right? Try a shot with the Visco app. Whoa! This thing makes microwave dinners look like 5-star meals. Just because it only costs $1 doesn't mean it has to taste like it. Now, with Taco Bell's new $1 Morning Value menu, you can break fast without breaking the bank. In a world where deciding...
River, this is the movie trailer.
Sorry. In a world where deciding what to have for lunch always seems to be the next little argument, Grubhub brings you all the best options, shows you the spots people can't seem to get enough of, and then brings your order right to your doorstep.
By the way, did you? I was playing the voice of the producer in there. Did either of you guys catch that?
No, I didn't catch it.
No.
Here, listen to my bit coming up right here. Hang on a second.
Now, with Taco Bell's new $1 Morning Value menu, you can break fast without breaking the bank. In a world where deciding...
River, this isn't a movie trailer.
Sorry. In a world where...
I never would have guessed that was you.
Terry Daniel had to make an appearance in somebody's demo as playing the...
That's a great bit. As soon as I thought it, I went, wow, he went for it and did it in a world. But then he made it a joke. It was like, cool.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome. Total joke. So I think you guys, if it's all right with you, Tawny and Rob, I think we should take a couple of questions.
Sure.
Let's go to...
Caller number 3, go ahead.
Frank, I'm
You're
coming.
on live with Tawny, Rob, and Terry.
Frank Romeo is in the place. Frank, how are you?
Weird.
Not
Frank?
doing well, apparently.
There he is.
Frank, can you hear us?
There we are. Yeah, now I can hear you now.
Hey,
Can you
Frank.
hear me? Hey,
Yeah, we hear
Terry,
you.
Rob, Tawny, how y'all doing?
Good.
You answered my first question by saying, coming out of the gate, hard charging, your first 5 seconds have to be money, because I was like, do we slate? Do we not slate? Pretty sure I have not booked many, many jobs because back in the day, I was slating my auditions. And people say, no, we're going to just stop listening to that with extreme prejudice. So you answered that question. My real question then is, I hear about breaking down different types of demos. So how granular do you get? There was a great example you just did with Tawny with having the sort of charactery bit at the end of a commercial demo, but obviously you want to get animation, commercial, explainer, like how granular do you get with the different types of demos? Just go down the list if you would.
Great question. You know what? It's getting really more and more niche based. It used to be, even 5 or 6 years ago that everybody had the king and queen sitting next to them. And what I mean by that, they had the commercial demo and the narration demo. That was the 2 standards. Those are still the 2 big ones. But what's happening now in the industry is agencies, producers, they're asking for different kinds of demos, an animation demo, a theme park demo. Who in their right mind 20 years ago would ever think about doing a theme park announcer demo, industrial demo, medical,
E-learnings.
E-learning, telephony. The list just goes on, and it is becoming more and more niche based. Rob, are you seeing that out there as well?
Absolutely, yeah. A lot of it, I think, is the philosophy that a person that's looking for a specific voice, if a producer is hiring a person for a medical narration, they're not going to want to sit through listening to him talk about audiobooks, an audiobook thing or anything else. So I hear a lot of people splitting it down into they have a medical narration demo that has all of the fancy, here's basically all the fancy words I can say without screwing up. That's basically what it is, what that kind of a demo is. But then there's also the e-learning, here's Bob, and Bob does this, and they're all niche kind of categories, because no one wants to hear, you used to say, yeah, here's a narration demo, and a narration used to be, in corporate videos and that sort of thing. Yeah. And now it's broken up into so many different categories.
It really
so you got to have different demos.
Documentary demo. Tawny, Tawny's got, Tawny, what have we done? We've done commercial, narration, character, and now we're on the way to doing a telephony demo for you.
We're going to be doing telephony on Friday, actually.
Yep, all on hold prompts, different, telephony systems at corporations, and that's still a big part. It's funny because the on hold stuff has really gotten put on the back burner compared to like explainer videos are obviously so popular in e-learning, but on hold messaging is still a huge part of the voiceover industry. Corporations have not stopped using on-hold messaging. Yvette Murphy, I don't know if I know that name. She might be brand new to VoiceOver Camp, and if so, welcome. I'm going to unmute your mic 1 second here. Yvette, good evening. Yvette, good evening.
Hello, let's try it again. Did that work?
That works. How you doing, Yvette?
Okay.
Yvette Murphy.
I like Yvette's voice.
Yvette, welcome to the program. You are live right here on CNN. No, I'm kidding.
Yay! I'm so excited. So I am new. Yes, it's true.
Yes.
And thank you so much for doing this. It's amazing. So who does the writing for all these spots?
Tawny, did you pay her to ask that question?
It's amazing. I'm very impressed. So
you.
Awesome to know that. Well, also, will this be recorded, this webinar?
It is
at
being
the beginning
recorded.
of it.
It is being recorded, and I'm going to go ahead and first I'm going to answer the first part of your question, Yvette. I'm going to mute your mic. Back in the day, I used to just take, scripts that would be from agencies or producers and kind of change the wording around. But, within the last year, Tawny is actually the copywriter for our demos. So anybody who does a demo with us is going to get 100% original copy. So that's pretty cool that she asked that question, Tawny. And you Tawny, tell us the process that we go through when we do kind of that script brainstorming session.
That's what's really cool about what we do, actually, is because I get to know you personally, and we construct the demo around your personality, because it makes a huge difference when that demo is actually about you and what you're interested in and what you like and what your niche is. I can really figure out how to make you sound good, because when you're passionate, when you like what you're talking about, it's going to sound better to those clients, to those agents. And then you get a little bit of kind of like that launch. So when you are talking about something maybe you're not quite as passionate about, you can kind of go back and channel that. But they're all totally original. I get to know you. We talk about your interests. We talk about what you like, and then we go back and forth, and I create a complete demo script for you.
It's perfect. And, there's a lot of, I never want to, I'm not going to rip on my competition, but there are demo mills out there that'll just grab everything from like Edge Studio website or something.
Yeah. And oh my God, yeah. I was going to say, like, there are so many that sound exactly the same.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Nobody will have your demo except you.
And every agent in this business has heard every script from Edge Studio. And it's like
yes.
Kiss of death. Like the kiss of death on a demo. If you hear like one of those scripts, and I mean, we all have heard them, but like the minute you hear it, you're like, oh, well, he's an amateur, and it's deleted, and you're on to the next voice.
Now, there's nothing wrong with using them. I mean, I like to use a few of those for coaching purposes, but for coaching purposes only. Sure. I mean, that's why they're out there. But it's funny. You'll hear 4 or 5 different demo mills out there are borrowing those scripts, and they're using them for all their students' demos. And that's not what we like to do. We'll talk about that a little bit later towards the end of the webinar. But Yvette, that was a great question. Tawny's a fantastic copywriter, not only a great voice actor, but just a really good copywriter. We want to make sure that all our demos have original content. Yeah, original content. We're pretty serious about it. We really want to. We really strive to do exactly the opposite from these cattle called demo mill companies, where they'll coach somebody, and then right at the end of the coaching session, they're shipped on a bus and into a recording studio before they even have a chance to work on a practice script. It's bad. There's a lot of bad stuff out there.
And it's kind of just completely counterintuitive to what you need as a voiceover artist as well. Right. You need a mentor. Like, anybody can go through a class and then just go stand in front of a mic, but you need somebody that you can repeatedly come back to and ask questions. And that's what we do. We're your mentors. We're your teachers. Yeah. We're not just like, give me your money. Here's a demo. Good luck. Bye.
Yeah.
True. Now, I'm not going to try to be mean
really
here.
Like that.
I don't want to be like negative or mean here, but I do want to show. I do want to play a couple of bad demos for you. I was tossed. I wasn't even sure I really wanted to do this, but the frightening thing is, and really, it's no fault of these guys. Sometimes they just don't know any better. But I just want to show you. I want to play you a sample of what not to send to a producer. Here's one, and it's.
If you're in the market for a new car, truck, or SUV, come to Hollywood Automotive. We've got the keys to your next vehicle. Hollywood Automotive.
Okay, I'm not even sure where the voice was on that one, but there was like a long intro. And keep in mind, even the good demos that we're playing, the great demos that we're playing for you, these are kind of filtered through the GoToWebinar system, so they're probably not going to sound great on your end. I mean, Tawny and Rob, how do they sound on your end when I'm playing the good demos?
There's a little bit of modulation, I think, but not bad.
It's the speakers, and that's just kind of what you have to remember is like how you're listening to that right now.
I just want to make sure, as long as people can hear the variety in the production, I'm happy. But here's like another example.
At the end of the ear canal is a skin stretched across the tunnel, tight like a drum. This is called the eardrum. When it's 100 degrees outside, the Earth's temperature below the surface remains a relatively cool 60 degrees. Why do more ships and planes vanish in the Bermuda Triangle without a trace? What is the real truth? These nerves are so essential.
All right, so you got a good idea. These are basically what we call in the industry as self-produced demos. There's people that aren't interested in doing it the right way. They're just going to go ahead and record something on their own. And you know what? Guess what? It doesn't work. It doesn't work, and you're going to fall flat on your face every time to do it.
And the thing that's tough about this is that, when you're doing this, when you're recording these demos and sending them out, you think you're sending out good stuff. You think it's like, this is top notch. This is what they want to hear. and it's so not. It really isn't. You know,
No,
I mean, there's a lot of. I mean, every one of those voices was a good voice. There was nothing wrong with any of those voices. It's just that they need some practice. They need some coaching in how to deliver the lines the right way. You know, I mean, every one of those guys could be a successful voiceover artist if they just got some coaching.
I'm going to take another live question. Gary Lewis, you're up next. I'm going to take you in a minute, but I want to play you somebody that I've worked with for quite a while. Her name is Jean, and this is what we did with her commercial demo.
Purple Valley Vineyards is the perfect place for your next relaxing getaway. Tour our acres of fresh grapes and experience the process from seed to bottle as you see how our wine is made and how we get the most out of our grapes. At Kohl's, every season is the season of giving more than just makeup recommendations, giving makeovers that bring customers to tears, or giving more than just, sorry, we're out of stock, giving a grandmother advice about how to connect with her grandson. Here at St. Mary's Cancer Treatment Center, we focus on all the different facets of human wellness. We not only treat the disease with state-of-the-art technology and the latest practices, we also treat the patient's spirit. Goodbye, office politics. Goodbye, photocopier paper jam. Goodbye, plastic plant. Or are you real? Goodbye, hearing about your totally sick weekend plans, Rick. You know how when you've been together for so long that you know each other so well? Well, Robert had me figured out totally. So I thought, what could I do just to totally throw him off guard? You know, surprise him.
All right, so that was Jean's commercial demo, and she's
so good. I love Jean. She's so good.
she's got some experience and she's got some pipes, and she's really good at that kind of mother/grandmother kind of read. Notice there was this is a perfect demo where there's subtle variety. It's not this big broad range where Tawny, you kind of went in a bunch of different directions, and River and Scott and Steve, they went all these different directions. She kept well within her niche, which is also very important for a demo, but there were subtle differences on every read, and that's what and this one's done really well for her.
Yeah,
and
she's great. Go ahead.
She is so niche, and I remember working on her demo scripts, and I remember thinking about that too. Like, not saying she's so niche, but like her voice is so perfect, and it's like she's found her niche, and that was something that like we really did want to display too with her demo, and I think that it really comes across like that.
Definitely.
She's so talented. She's
really, 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 really cool lady. Gary Lewis, I'm coming to you right now. I'm just going to unmute your mic. Give it a second here. Gary, good evening. You're on with Terry, Rob, and Tawny.
A fine evening. Can you hear me?
It is a fine evening. We can hear you loud and clear. Thank you for being here.
Perfect. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Well, I've been working with one of the aforementioned companies that you mentioned a few minutes ago, and I had a coaching session there, and the coaching session was fine, but I don't feel like I was given the direction that I felt I needed. And here's an example. I'm obviously working towards a commercial. Well, not obviously, but I'm working towards a commercial demo is what I'm heading for. I don't think I have enough inflection in my voice as to what a lot of the demos I've been listening to. And I guess my bottom line question is this. Yes, I do need coaching. I understand that. Is there anything in between coaching or somewhere where we can get some practice and some feedback from somebody that's in the know? I'm just looking for some guidance towards doing it correctly the first time and not having to relearn it over and over, if that makes sense.
Right. Yep. I'm going to mute your mic. And Rob, you want to take that one?
Well, first I got to say that the company that he's using is a good company. They do turn out, some decent voiceover artists, but it's a huge company. And I think part of the problem with that is that they just don't have the capacity or the time to spend with each person to make sure that they're getting exactly what they need to get to make it as a successful voiceover artist. I just don't think that they have enough attention to detail. I think that's what we're hearing, with this. So I think, there is some ways to get kind of additional coaching, in addition. I mean, there are several groups online. There are several Facebook groups that do practice sessions and stuff. And I think, Terry, we offer like the group classes and stuff that we do. That's a perfect way to do it.
That's a program.
That's a good way to get practice.
Yep, we'll talk about that here in about a little less than 10 minutes away. And you know what? I'm going to go back to the sports analogy. If you look at a football player, you look at a baseball player, basketball player, they use multiple coaches. I mean, a baseball player will have a hitting coach, a defensive coach. Look at how many. I mean, every time there's a baseball game, there's there's coaches everywhere. First base, third base. There's one a couple of them in the dugout. There's one in the bullpen. I mean, these players are surrounded by a multitude of coaching, and it's okay to have more than one. Yeah, it's Tiger Woods.
Yeah. Five coaches. Had 5 coaches when he was playing.
It's okay to have more than one, Gary.
Yeah, and really what it comes down to too is like nobody's good at everything. You know what I mean? That's like between the three of us, we all have our specialty where it's like Rob's a bit better at this, Terry has more experience with this, I have more experience with this, and just nothing really replaces having a mentor either. Like the group classes are great to get started, but just, I mean, if you're serious about it, just like nothing really truly replaces having a coach and a mentor. It catapults you to that next level.
And it motivates you. It gets you out of bed. It gets you to try harder. It gets you to like not give up. I mean,
it's like having a workout partner.
Yeah, it really is. That's a great.
Get your butt into the gym. Makes you work.
That is a great analogy.
Yeah, it's like having a personal trainer.
Yeah. That's what it is.
It's
really what it is. A personal trainer.
It's a personal trainer.
It's having a compass and a schedule too. Because I mean, my wife and I are doing a 10-mile run in October, and if this, we've got the calendar on our refrigerator, a good old-fashioned calendar that's printed off, and it's got the mileage every day, so you feel compelled to do it. I mean, if that wasn't like sticking on the refrigerator, I would be like, I don't think I'm going to do it today, or I think I'm going to just maybe make up for it, in a couple of days. But the fact that it's there, it's like this compass that's like haunts me in the middle of the night, that frickin' running calendar. I can't wait to burn that thing when the race is over. But it does help. We got a question from Steven Gonzalez. Steven, I'm going to take your question in just a minute. I want to play with you a fabulous TV promo demo that I did for a very talented man by the name of Steve Henderson. Tawny and Rob, you guys know who he is.
Steve's a great guy.
He's great.
Great vibes.
He was born to do promo, and listen to some of these reads and what we were able to do with him. Check this out.
2 crimes, 2 murders, 2 suspects, but only 1 killer.
It was Eric. I shot at him.
And he has a new hostage. The new episode of Homicide Miami premieres now. Viewer discretion advised. Today on HGTV, celebrated chef Emilio Rodriguez visits the kitchen at Mina's Gastro Pub in LA.
What do we do first?
Will he be charmed by the husband-wife team? Or does the menu need a makeover? Find out tonight on a new episode of Emilio in the Kitchen at 7, only on HGTV. 4 contestants compete in a battle of wits to win fame, glory, and most of all, $500,000. You decide the winner. Cast your vote at kvn.com/The Last Stand and tune in every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern and Pacific. Who will you vote for? Summer is here, and we're kicking it off right with our summer movie marathon on TMC. From the beach, to the camp, to vacations. We have all your favorite movies to beat the heat. Every Sunday beginning at 8, only on TMC.
All right, so that's what we call in the industry is a TV promo demo, and it sounds totally legit. And he's actually done some stuff for like NBA TV and different things like that. So that one's when I do the imaging demos, they're very heavily compressed. They sound very big, and I stretch them, and that's why you see, like even in Adobe Audition, that's why you see it all thickened up, and it's like bleeding, and it's like just this really huge thing that I tend to do with imaging demos. So let's get to Steve Gonzalez. We'll get your question here, and then we'll slowly start to wrap things up here. Hang on, Steve. We're going to unmute your mic. Steven Gonzalez, welcome to the party.
Howdy, y'all. How y'all doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing good.
First of all, shout out, Rob, in Southern Louisiana. I know what y'all guys are going through. We went through it last year. All the best for your community there.
Oh, thanks, brother. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you. The question that I have, kind of piggybacking on the specialization of demos,
what do you think of, for website purposes especially, segmenting your demos, commercial demo and narration demo? For example, on my website, I've got each segment is a clickable thing so that the person that's listening to me doesn't have to listen to the first part if they're interested in my third segment kind of attitude. What would y'all say about that?
Let me mute your mic, Steven. That sounds like part of that voice Zam thing, doesn't it, Rob?
Yeah, and I know a lot of voice artists use that program because it's set up to kind of set your demo. It splits your demo up into different categories that you can label, and it allows a person that's looking for a specific category to be able to click on that one thing and hear just that portion of their demo. I mean, it's a pretty cool technology. It's one more thing that a voice artist needs to spend money on, if they want to use it. So I think when you're first starting out, it might not be the best return on investment, because I think you have to pay a monthly fee to use that service that does all the segmenting and stuff. But it's cool. I think if you have a lot of different niches, I think it would be better to just have like that niche as a demo and say, here's your demo for that category and here's your demo for that category, but there are ways to split it up. It's just, it's one more expense. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's very good. I'm going to open up the question box. If anybody wants to type a question in there, they don't necessarily want to be heard. That's totally cool. Frank says, wow, Gene's demo is money. I love the difference in the waveform between the promo demo and Gene's demo. Nice. People are getting some nice compliments. Yvette Murphy, awesome demos of Tawny's. All those were written and produced by you. Well, Tawny wrote the scripts for her own demo, but yours truly produced them. We recorded them in a studio, so we've got some really nice. Actually, Robert Laborde. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing that correct, Robert. Is it? He's got a question here. Is it professional to slate on your demo? There might an agency, if you get invited to be a part of a roster, which of course is a dream come true if you're a voice talent. That's heading in the right direction. Some agencies will add the tag, or they'll add the slate at the very beginning. Personally, when I produce mine, I don't do the slate at the beginning because there's a lot of agencies that don't want the slate. So it's kind of a 50-50 thing. But if they do, we can definitely come back and add it later. I save all of my session files via Adobe Audition, so we can always tweak something or add something later. But that's a great question.
Thing. It's kind of an old school thing
really
that it creates the illusion that you have an agent for some people that do that slate on the beginning. But like, again, if you're a producer looking to cast somebody quickly, having to listen to those 3 seconds of you saying who you are, it's like, just get to it. I don't care who you are. What can you do?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it can become a nuisance.
I've definitely heard some clients that I've worked with that have, talk to me and kind of express that. I've heard some people actually say if they hear a slate, they just toss it. They won't even listen to the rest of it. So it is it's very opinion, but I think the trend kind of seems like it's going towards non-slating. Like the information's there today, with the technology. Like,
I think so too. It does seem a little more old school. I'm going to piggyback on, I think it was Steve Adriance. I'm sorry, I'm doing a horrible job pronouncing names tonight. What investment can you expect to make for coaching or demos? It's really all over the board. And frankly, as we kind of wind down on the webinar here, I really want to encourage people, and you hear us preach about this all the time in VoiceOver Camp, the importance of getting good training and coaching and really doing things the right way. I mean, there's people that will read a book or read a blog online, and like I mentioned before, they have a great voice. That's great. But then they think they can just plug a USB mic into their computer and then money is going to spit out of their computer somehow. This is no different than any other business. It requires an investment, not only financially, but an investment of time. It takes, a lot of endurance and, get knocked down and get yourself right back up. We talk about the personal trainer analogy. It's unbelievable. I mean, we really want to encourage, especially everybody on this call, to really take it seriously. If you really want to make a go at this and have a successful voiceover business, it's important to get a coach. I mean, Yeah. Do we talk about it a lot in voiceover camp? Absolutely, because we care about people's success. We don't want to see people fall flat on their face from just doing everything backwards. I mean, you heard some of those bad demos. I mean, can you imagine, like, if you sent one of those bad demos to a talent agency, they'll remember who you are. And Rob, you mentioned this a little bit at the beginning of the call. They have an incredible memory for the shit. They really, really do. And suddenly you decide to take it seriously a couple years later. Well, why are they going to give you a second chance when you wasted their time in the first place? Because believe it, agents are weird people. They've got crazy memory. They got crazy memories for the time that you wasted their time sending them a cheesy self-produced demo. So we want to recommend. Go ahead, Rob.
I always thought that, there was that urban legend that within the voiceover world that agents kept the worst of the worst and shared it among their friends, as a joke. And I always thought that was an urban legend until I talked to a couple of agents, and no, that's exactly what they do. Like Christmas parties, they share the worst demos they've gotten that year.
Yeah, you don't want to be.
You don't want to be remembered that way.
No, you don't want to be the laughing stock at a Christmas party, put it that way. So, if you're going to make some waves and do it right, you need to take it seriously.
Well, and there's often a disconnect with that too. Like, to go back to what you were saying, Terry, about like the business part, I think that a lot of people that go into voiceover, you're thinking of it as an artist, you're thinking of it as using your voice, and you're not thinking about it as a business. You're starting a business. It's going to take time and investment to grow that. Like, I defy anybody to find, like, the vast majority of people will not start a business and it's something that you have to work at and you have to build over time. And that's what's important, is that this is very, very, very much building your brand and your business in addition to being an artist. And that's one of the tools that you need.
Absolutely.
It's building a voiceover business. I mean, that's, it's in the name. It's a voiceover business.
Exactly. You're responsible for marketing yourself. Nobody's going to care about you as much as you are. So you have to market yourself and get yourself out there.
Well, I do know, and here's the good news for everybody in the call. I do know, I'm not going to share all of our voiceover coaching programs, but I am going to tell you that they are available, and we do have some availability in a few of the programs. So what I would like to encourage you to do, and I certainly hope you do that, because I know I talk to people all the time that have been sitting on the fence for 2 years, where they've been encouraged by their friends and family members to work with a coach or to try to make a go at this. Don't be one of those people that just sits around wishing and waiting, because nobody's going to knock on your door because they heard through the grapevine that you have the best voice ever that they've ever heard. They're not going to show. They're not going to show up at your doorstep with a big pool of money. So I'm going to tell you right now that we do have availability in our voiceover training programs. And what I want to encourage you to do, and I know many of you are here from Voiceover Camp. Rob and Tawny, are you going to be available for a little while after the webinar?
Yeah, I'll be on Facebook. Absolutely, I'll be hanging out on Facebook for most of the night.
Okay.
I have no life.
And Tawny, you're available as well?
Yes, I'll be available for the next half hour to about an hour before I got my next gig that I'm on my way to.
Okay, if you're interested in working with us, if you like what you've heard tonight and you want to work with us, we'd love to have you. What I want to encourage you to do, and everybody on this call, is message either Rob Marley or Tawny Plattis via Facebook Messenger, and they'll find out a little bit more about you, and we'll try to find the right program for you. That's why I don't want to be this, I don't want to show you the website and show you all of our programs, because everybody's different. We want to get to know you. We want to hear your voice. We want to, we want to decide what the right program is for you. So I want to encourage everybody on the call to PM either Rob Marley or Tawny Plattis via Facebook. And, they'll tell you a little bit more about our mentorship programs. You heard some of these demos, and some of these demos are getting our students a lot of work. And I want to encourage you to take the next step instead of just, sitting on the back burner. Well, you hear that. Don't be one of those maybe next year people, because maybe next year turns into maybe next decade. Trust me, I've been there. I spent way too long in corporate radio when I wanted to get out of it. It was it was comfortable enough, And I was like, well, this is good enough. You know, I had that horrible mindset for so many years, and it went from being good enough to absolute misery. And then I finally just took a leap of faith and didn't have a whole lot of capital at the time that I did, and found a way to make it work. And I haven't looked back since. I really want to encourage everybody to do so. Does anybody have, Tawny, do you have any closing words before we say goodnight?
I mean, I think we covered it. Everything that we had wanted to touch on. So yeah, feel free to private message us and we'd be happy to help you and direct you.
Yeah, do this via Facebook. Tawny's in VoiceOver Camp. You can find her on Facebook pretty easily. And then Rob Marley is very visible in VoiceOver Camp and also in Facebook.
What are you trying to say?
Send either one of these two a PM, and we'd like to help you out. You know, I'll be around too to answer any questions that you might have. But you know what? I really appreciate everybody taking time out of their Wednesday evening to be a part of this webinar. I hope they're entertaining. I hope they're helpful. We like to provide a good product for our VoiceOver Camp members. We want to make sure that people get on the right path, because you know what? There's a lot of people that are sending people on the wrong path. And that just, it breaks my heart to see it. The only reason I got into mentorship, and this was many, many years ago now, is I would get calls from people who spent like $7,500 on crappy coaching and crappy demos. And I finally got so sick of it. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just take a few people here and there and show them what worked for me. And that's kind of how I got started. So we encourage you guys to take that next step and get going with this too. So thank you very much, everybody. Have a great night. Again, Rob Marley, Tawny Plattis, they'll be available for a quick PM on Facebook, at least for the next 30 minutes, to answer any questions regarding coaching and demo production. We encourage you to message them. Rob, Tawny, thank you for being a part of this, and have a great evening, everybody, and take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye.